I want to help fund my grandchildren's education. What are some of my options, and what are the pros and cons to each option?
Yeah, this is my 35th year, and I have a different answer now than I used to have, just based on personal experience. There are all these vehicles that you can save for somebody's education, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're great, actually. My favorite vehicle, the one that seems to be the most popular right now, is the 529,
Yep.
right? So in some states, you actually get a write-off for putting money in a 529. Not true in California,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. But every place it grows tax-free,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you can buy any state's 529 plan. Every state has different 529 plans. Some of them have multiple 529 plans. So you can go out and shop and find really good ones and what have you. So um, the problem is that in order to really be effective in planning for college savings, you probably should start pretty young,
Mm-hmm.
because the whole object is to let compounding growth happen over a long period of time, so that maybe you put in a certain dollar amount but it's worth a lot more, and the rest was just earnings. You gained it. If that child's 16 and now you're going to start saving for college, nothing wrong with that, but you got a couple years, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe you could add on the other 4 years in total they might be in college, but pretty short period of time for compounding. So if you're going to be starting early, here's the catch. The catch is you don't know what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old or a 5-year-old. Are they going to go to college? Are they going to get some kind of scholarship? My son got a golf scholarship, so that reduced the cost. I wouldn't have said that was true when he was 2 or 3,
Mm-hmm.
although he did start playing when he was 3, so maybe. But nonetheless, and so we've got these situations where I've had several clients who have actually oversaved, and they have quite a bit of money in
Mm-hmm.
529 plans and other retirement plans, and the kids haven't used it. They went to a school that wasn't that expensive,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So the answer, in my opinion, now that I've been through this and watched this, is to kind of split the difference. Put money into a 529 plan, because the reason again is because you can't get that money out
Yep.
without it being a college cost. There are some things you can transfer to other people in the family. It's the most flexible
Yep.
of the college plans that I know of. But what if they don't go to college, or it doesn't cost that much, and you want to help them with the down payment on a house instead? Well, you got all this money in the 529, you're going to get killed on taxes trying to
Mm-hmm.
take that out. So uh, maybe split the difference. Set up a separate account, just a regular brokerage taxable account, that kind of half and half,
Yeah.
529 and regular account. And because you can still use the regular account for college, it's not tax-free growth, but it is capital gains growth, which is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have both. And if they go to college, you have both to use. If they don't go to college, then you can really use that other one for something else. You could even use it for yourself.
Yep.
Maybe you end up remodeling, some portion of your home or something, but you can also then, help your kid get a home, or, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish there. So anyway, that's just from personal experience. If you're only going to save a small amount, and it's going to definitely be below any cost of college, then just do the 529,
Yep.
right? But if you're really trying to do it, then you're going to try to kind of maximize that. And I've seen a lot of families getting involved. Grandparents are putting money
Mm-hmm.
in, and that's it's awesome, right? I mean, it's everybody's supporting these kids, and I think that's fantastic. But the structure of that needs to be thought about, just in case, so you don't end up with, your kids are out of college, you got all this money at 529. What do you do with it? Maybe you wait for your grandkids.
Yeah.
But you don't know if that's going to happen, right? I mean, it's interesting. It's a good question.
Yeah, and so like some of your other options are you have UTMAs, which are Universal Transfer to Minor Act, and you have Cordell accounts and like these education savings bonds. They're called EE bonds, and so these are some of your other options. Most of the times, people recommend the 529 over these options. Is Cordell's and savings bonds, you can only save a limited amount, and savings bonds don't really pay as much as kind of being in the market. So if you're going for a long term, those bonds kind of fall behind. And so the reason that people have kind of gone away for UTMAs is it's the ownership. When you look at age of majority, this asset transfers to the child. And so if it's 18, then your child, ends up with whatever money's in that UTMA. So if you have $50,000, that could go to them. How they decide to do with what they do with it is their choice. You lose control. And so that's the nice thing about 529 is you retain kind of that ownership of it and you can control it. And so when it comes to, I guess, in later ages, say you're you're a non-affluent family and you might qualify for needs for your college. And so 529s are more beneficial because they count as your parents' assets. So any asset that your child has, 20% of it can be considered usable for a year of college. And so they would expect you to liquidate 20% of your assets for that year. And that would be considered what you can contribute. While a parent can only contribute about 5 to 6%. I don't know the exact, but it's in that range. And so that's a much smaller. And so 529s count as your parents' assets. So if you're trying to qualify for needs, you want to have it in a 529 versus an UTMA.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that most of the other UTMAs and all of these things, most of those that we see that are in the practice were established before the 529, came out. And so really it's just, the 529 is kind of dominated because of all the flexibility. And they've actually continued to increase the flexibility beyond just college. They've made, you can spend it on more things like the laptop that you use in college. You can spend it on private school, K through 12 private school. And so, if you think your kid's going to go to a really expensive high school or something along those lines, you can start saving at a younger age for that too. So that's interesting. I mean, and that ownership piece is a big deal. You don't want to put $50,000 into, an account that your 18 or 21-year-old, depending on the majority age of the plan, is going to get. And, you hope that they'd spend it on college, but it could go to a Corvette. So, I don't know, maybe that's all right too. But nonetheless, that 529 plan allows you to kind of control that and redirect that money to somebody else if they don't go to college, or redirect it even to one of your other kids, which I think is really cool because I have two kids, one who went to a UC school here and had scholarships, so it wasn't super expensive. Another child that's going to a small, small private school that's more expensive, and so I could redirect 529 assets towards the more expensive child, so it just gives me some flexibility. You can't do that with those other types of accounts, as easily anyway.
I think Congress is aware that 529s need to get better to incentivize people to save, and so they realize that not everyone goes to college, and so certain trade schools, if you're a accredited trade school, you can go. You can get that. Your 529s can pay for that, and those are worthwhile jobs for a lot of people.
Yes, yeah, exactly. No, it's great actually, and tax-free growth. We use a plan called My 529 through Utah, for example, is one of our favorites. I can get a hold of Vanguard funds inside of there and create nice portfolios, and the internal costs are reasonable. You got to watch out because some of the states are really expensive in terms of the internal costs. So, you got some selection there. It's a great concept, and I enjoy working with those, actually.
Yeah, another thing about 529s is instead of actually just having an investment account, if you're trusting that your kid will go to a certain school, you could prepay tuition. And so I know it's very popular in Florida. A lot of people end up going to Florida State or Florida University because they have a really cheap prepaid tuition system that's really worthwhile.
Yeah, probably a lot of alumni hoping their kids go there. And it's paid for, so it kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, I suppose. But so